Warning: this video may contain content viewers may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. I will place a time card showing when a sensitive topic will be mentioned and when it'll end. Please skip if you are uncomfortable with said topic. I'd also like to add to not harass anyone mentioned here. The Godzilla community is a fandom that's been rising in popularity over the past decade, with many faces being recognizable for their talent. However, as with any community, there will always be negative influences. One happened to be someone I had my own experiences with. But when I shared my side to the internet, I was shown how far this trail goes. These are the horrors of Gabester Studios. Part 1. Introduction. For those of you who haven't kept a track of my social media, I've been busy calling out Gabester Studios, a VFX artist who developed a small following due to him collaborating and communicating with prominent members of the community. We had been talking to each other since 2017, but our communication became regular when I hired him to do VFX for the 2024 film Gigantosaurus Rebirth. I was inexperienced with commissioning work, so he took advantage of the fact his work wasn't contractual. He charged money for more of his own desires rather than legitimate progress, with said money going to ethically questionable substances, Uber rides, and toys so he can scalp. His progress is even more non-existent throughout the months. With me having grown tired of his inability to respond, I fired him after he admitted that he was lying about progress, meaning the time, money, and energy I gave him was for nothing. I was reluctant to fire him after months of little communication, as I didn't want to lose the only VFX artist. He said he'd give me my money back, but it's been 2 years. He stalked my social media pages and ended things off early this year by blocking me on Twitter. But it seems Gabe had plans after I brought this to light. Part 2. Content Farms. As it turns out, Gabester had been hiding on his alternate accounts, Officer Gabester and Judge Gabester. These pages pump out content showing body cam footage and court cases, and you jump on the bandwagon of mocking man-children, Karens, and transgender individuals, the latter being consistent as Gabe proclaimed to me that he was red-pilling people, even going by the top Gabe, as he actively had supported Enter Tate. Upon discovering these pages, I and several others tried communicating with him to get him to address the controversy, but he would hide accounts from his page before blocking them. This would even extend to his TikTok and Facebook pages. Nothing, I'd say, would convince him to do as little as speak to me. Part 3. Why it took so long. When the scam happened in 2023, I wound up getting in contact with Camster Rook, an old friend of mine who did VFX work for projects such as Godzilla Apex. He had planned to do his own rant on Gabe, with me sending in a video going over my story, but due to personal issues, the video was cancelled after 2 years of on and off progress. I waited this long because I was under the impression my experience would be brought to light, so Camster and I agreed it would be the best if I opened up myself. Part 4. The Discovery. Warning: what will be shown here are allegations, as they're not 100% confirmed due to Gabe hiding away from me. It would be marked as an allegation, as I won't be framing it as being definitive to avoid legal issues. That being said, viewer discretion is advised. I will place a time card showing when a sensitive topic will be mentioned and when it'll end. Please skip if you are uncomfortable with said topic. Upon opening the drive Camster had sent me, I saw that Gabester had allegedly done things far beyond a mere scam. Evan O'Rourke, or EAO Productions, is a former content creator who used to be friends with Gabester, but like many friendships, things happened to fall apart in 2022. But Gabe allegedly knew where Evan lived, and tried to get to his apartment while threatening him, but when he was supposedly 20 minutes away, he cancelled and left. An anonymous source stated the following. Pretty much, Evan and Gabester stopped being friends a year ago, but Gabester won't let Evan go and was weirdly and creepily obsessed. Evan doesn't want anything to do with him, but when Gabester found out that his parents were taking him to New York, he decided it would be a good idea to go to Evan's house since he had the address from an eBay purchase. Gabe would then continuously DM me every day telling me to tell Evan, "See you soon," and included that message in nearly everything relating to his trip. He then live-streamed him going to Evan, but apparently couldn't figure out his apartment number, so never showed up. He also told me the potential things such as damaging property, leaving a note, and other such things to do to Evan's apartment/home. It got to the point where people working at Evan's building were told about the incident. It also kind of puts me at risk since me and Evan live across the street, and Gabester also has my address. As well, it was kind of alarming Gabester was walking around with 3 adult cousins who he's mentioned are in the ethically questionable substance business. Evan clarified, stating the following: "Yes, everything regarding the threats he made to visit me are accurate. It happened in late August/early September of 2022. The screenshot of that long paragraph describing the event was almost certainly from and everything he said is accurate, but he exaggerated saying he lived across the street from me. He lives more realistically about 15 minutes from my house. No, I believe he got as close as 40 minutes away by walking or 20 minutes away by driving and decided not to. However, it was the constant statements and videos he would make beforehand that were just weird and concerning. Yeah, it's mostly accurate, but as I explained, I believe he only got as close as 20 to 40 minutes away. I don't believe he ever reached the building itself and turned away because he didn't know the apartment number. Also, as mentioned before, too, more accurately lives around 15 minutes away from me rather than across the street, but that's a minor detail. The second thing brought to my attention is that in 2019, Gabe allegedly dated a girl whose name I will redact for privacy. The breakup supposedly caused him to be angry, so according to allegations, he saved images of her and sent them as a form of revenge. However, due to Gabe being a teenager at the time, the girl was actually 15 years old. If this true, Gabe committed several crimes, but according to those in the Google Hangout chats, Gabe allegedly knew what he did was illegal but didn't care. To reiterate, I am being careful with how I word things to avoid potential legal issues. Turbo, Nick, or Panda Amanda, and Mario said the following to me when I questioned them. Turbo claimed, "I mean, he just sent his ex's nudes after a breakup. Basically revenge content. I don't know her name, her user was and no, she hasn't been around since." Mario had said to me, "That was a while ago, but we had that girl in the chats with us. He was mad at her, and I believe started spamming those photos. Justification was being she was a slut and pissed him off. That's what I recall." Nick told me the following: "I don't remember much about the time or how it started. All I remember was that he created a new group chat and sent the photos. All of us went no contact for a few years until we rekindled. Since Gabe and his ex did give up on their on/off relationship and her reaching out that everything was cool. Some of us were still skeptical, but once he started hanging out with some of the other guys, eventually everyone tolerated him again. I have never had personal beef with him since then." Part 5, Finale. Whether the information in Part 4 is legitimate or not, Gabester undoubtedly swindled me out of over $1,000 and is refusing to take any accountability. My heart goes out to anyone he's impacted, as he's been able to go unnoticed for many years. I hope everyone stays safe. May this be an important lesson on who you put your trust into. When deciding professional work, please make sure to have the writer sign a contract. Only give your money to people you trust and know to be capable of working rather than just knowing them. Have a good day. May God bless you.